Okay, so the negative has said multiple times that, you know, it's really hard to get an ID, and, you know, fraud is not, this isn't gonna prevent the kind of fraud that is actually happening. But I'd like to go back to what we said earlier. It's, you know, people who want to vote and who want to cast their votes are going to already have an ID. And for just that case, from ProtectMyVote.com, the Associated Press has said that the motor voter law established a voting registration system for people applying for or renewing their driver's license for the state IDs. So even if you don't want to vote, just by getting a state ID, just by getting your driver's license, the motor voter law, you're going to have some form of identification that works for when you want to cast your vote. So they've passed so many things that make it so easy, with mobile units now coming out. I mean, this is still in it's almost like its infancy. This is, state IDs laws have been a thing for about 3 years now. 2011 and 2012 is when it got really big and people started getting really controversial about it. So I'm not going to tell you the system's perfect. The voter ID laws are perfect. We're still kind of getting to the point where we're trying to make this perfection. Sure, there's things that can be changed. Sure, there's different provisions and some policies that need to be changed. For instance, the absentee ballots. You like she said, there's only about 6 states that require you to show your state ID to get an absentee ballot. Now, that's something that can be implemented, nationwide, that would stop the kind of fraud that they're talking about. You have to produce when you go to get your absentee ballot or have it sent to you or whatever. You have to actually produce, ID that says that this is who you are. Now, so that's one thing that they brought up that is actually being implemented that can definitely help the kind of fraud that they're talking about. And then just like some common sense things. John Fund also said in the NASA research, one reason is that people know you can't function in the modern world without showing ID for various things, like cashing a check, driving by plane, or paying with credit card. It's just a thing that you have. Everyone's got some form of ID now. Like they're saying that people are being denied access to vote. Well, if you have some form of ID, yeah, you might not be able to cast an actual ballot with a vote at that specific time, but you do still get the chance to cast a provisional vote, which is, pretty much the same thing. It just gets counted later, and because you have to follow up with better documents. So you still get the chance to cast a ballot. It just might not be counted at that exact time. So you do get to cast the vote. And then just talking about integrity, for every ballot cast for candidate A, it undermines the democratic process by canceling out a legitimate vote for candidate B. So, just because the fraud is happening, so it's just undermining the whole thing. They're trying to talk about how it's an integrity, it's disenfranchising people. Well, just by having those fraudulent votes, it's making the whole process un-American. To date, there are 16 different states that have enacted a photo ID mandate, and yet another 15 that have required voters to show some form of personal documentation, and that's from thestatesman.com. So people want this. This is happening, and it's coming. It's something that we need to all get behind and push, so that way we can, like I said, make this a better system, so we aren't disenfranchising people. But and this is the last thing. According to the National Review again, according to opinion polls, over 75% of Americans, including majorities of Hispanic and African Americans, routinely support such laws. So there is a lot of people that want this to happen, and so we just need to make it so. Thank you.